check. Is
Sure.
this 304 Gilman Hoffman Road?
It is.
Okay.
Yes.
So people, they don't do a good job explaining to people that we're always working. I assume what you did is the 2020 census.
We did.
Okay, so this is just slightly a little bit different.
Do you need me to put a mask on?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, this
Major
is
America,
like
yep.
generic paperwork that
Okay.
kind of just like the letter. You didn't
So,
receive
well-
a letter?
Well, yeah, we got a letter in the mail, and we filled it all out, sent it in, and then when the guy come, he had a computer just like you did, and he verified it. Because the wife had done it all, and she was at work.
Okay,
So
so
he
the
was-
form that you should have filled out for mine, for the
Yep.
ACS, it's a green packet. It looks like a booklet.
So what's the difference between the two?
One is very fast. It's like your name, your date of birth, and things like that. This one is much longer. It goes
This was
into
a
like,
full in-depth. I mean, it's name, who lives where, age.
yep, house
Yep.
questions,
Yeah.
how many vehicles you have.
Well, that's not something I would answer in a census.
yeah.
Census is a people count.
Yes.
Well, that's voluntary answer information.
So that would have been
I mean, that's never any information we would have given.
okay. So to try to, and that's fine. When
Well,
I go
right,
when I go
right.
through the interview, you can just say I don't want to answer that. To try to simplify
Everything you
it.
want to answer has already been answered.
Yes, it's two separate things. So
People.
yes, and
That's
this.
it.
So to try to let's see. Well, it's sections 141, 221, and 193 of the United States
Yep.
Code. That's one for
American Community Survey, which
Yeah.
is just a survey, not a census. That's a voluntary survey.
Yeah, they call them survey.
Well, okay, so a census is a census, and a survey is also performed by census takers, but surveys aren't required by law. They're 100% voluntary. I mean, and that's why it'll say it in here, I'm sure.
It's also, if you look at the letter,
Respondents are not required to respond to any information unless a valid approval number has been assigned by an Office of Management and Budget. It tells us how many people are here, where we live,
mean,
names, ages.
I can send you the legal letter. I don't really want to send a legal letter.
Okay, so
You
let
say.
me say a couple things before you go too deep into
Yep.
it. As an American citizen, I have a few rights afforded to me.
Yep.
And one of them is I'm never under any obligation to answer any questions without an attorney present.
Okay.
I always have a right to be silent.
Yep.
I have a right to never bear witness against myself. We all know you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. All these things apply 24 hours a day. My right to silence also is in effect 24 hours a day. Now, unless there's something here that says that I am obligated to answer a question, and if it does, I have a right to have an attorney present.
On the letter.
I won't be
itself.
answering any questions today because I don't have the attorney present.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Now, documents, if you have a document to fill out, by all
Okay,
means,
so
let me know.
Here.
And I'll forward that off to the attorney because he knows all the title stuff and the section code and...
I will give you this.
Yep, okay.
Okay, that is my name, number, address, all that. good
Okay.
stuff.
Let's see.
Send you a letter like this in the mail. The difference being, it would have had your name on it, the address, and it would have said that I was coming. They also,
Okay.
now I'm not positive they sent forms to everybody. You may be one of the
Okay,
houses
so-
that didn't get forms. If that's the case, then it gets done with me. Now, can I just add something real quick?
Sure, of course.
Basically to dumb it down,
Yep.
so we present this data to the government, and that's how the government distributes federal funding back to the states.
Do you know how
It's a pretty-
anti-government the guy standing in front of you is?
Yeah, you know how anti-government the girl doing this work is?
Yeah, no, and I'm not trying to give you I swear I'm not trying to give you a hard time. It doesn't matter if...
Well, I was just explaining.
I've got to ask a question about that.
Yeah, and how do I get out of here?
Oh, the easy way is just, I'll tell you
Just keep going straight?
Yeah, you're going to go this way. So if you go this way, you're going to come to a T. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so way down. Is the road better that way? All right.
So how did they select this address on this whole mountain road?
They pull it out of a satellite image,
Okay.
which really is true. It's done by like an algorithm.
Sure.
And the only reason why I know that this is true is because I went to this house one time, and it from a satellite image it did. It had beautiful windows in it, the whole 9 yards. I pull up, and it's surrounded by barbed wire. And there was a car down there, so I'm like, I'm not
suspicious.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm not
really
walking up to
sure,
it.
like, how,
Right.
you know, do I really want to climb through barbed wire?
Hell no, because that guy's gonna probably come out all crazy with a gun and hey, quiet.
I know you pulled this out of a satellite image, and it looks like a house from the scenic view, but no, it's not.
So they just take satellite images and randomly pick houses off it?
Yep, we get, so I do.
And then they just show up and want to know a whole bunch of questions like, what are you driving?
Yeah.
What kind of car you got?
What it's supposed to be is, it is supposed to be random, so that we can't, as a government agency, we're not hand picking who we're going to try to talk to. You know, like, oh, we're trying to give a ton of money to
The word government.
this part. Like to, and I do. I've interviewed millionaires. I've interviewed people who literally drain their washing machine in a hole in the ground. I, as somebody, so I moved, I'm not going to say out here, but over towards South Seal a while ago. And the people are great.
Yeah.
But it sometimes amazes me how economically disadvantaged things are around here.
Yeah.
And the money doesn't get spent appropriately a lot of the time. Okay, what's your first name? Does anyone else live or stay here, such as roommates, foster children, boarders, living employees?
We keep a lot of small children chained in the basement, but many hands make light work.
No.
And we didn't think the government would really want to talk about that with us, so if you want, we just do no comment on that.
Okay. Okay, so basic questions about people in the household. Of the people you named, who owns or rents this place? Okay. Opposite sex, husband and wife?
I give you credit. I don't know if I'd be comfortable coming to cabins on mountain roads like this.
I'm work more than my wear. So before this, I used to work at a state facility that housed
criminally insane
that were not fit to stand trial.
Yeah,
and are you male or female? Okay, and your date of birth. And if you don't want to provide a date of birth, a relative age range. Do you know your origins? For example, German, French, Irish. Okay, this is a one-family house, detached from other houses. Do you know what year it was first built? Maybe, or it's 40s, 50s, 60s?
2000. Oh yeah, no, this is brand new. This is 2006.
Okay. And is the house on less than an acre, 1 to 9.9 acres, or 10 acres or more?
Over 10 acres.
That's honest to God. That's the thing I've interviewed. You know, people from literally were taught to turn a blind eye.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
short of
murder, rape, child abuse.
Well, I've had some moments. I didn't realize there was a murder at this one house. Like literally the day before I got there.
It had already been discovered, though.
Yes.
Okay.
I had no clue, and I really haven't had. I mean, I got hit with a heroin needle one time, but it's not. You know, it's like, well, you can't steal the product, John. You know? Bathrooms, porches, balconies, foyers, halls, or unfinished basements, and their rooms must be separated by built-in archways or walls that extend out at least 6 inches and go from floor to ceiling. And does the house have hot and cold running water? And sinks with faucets, and telephone service, and if you don't have landline, cell phones that you can use in the event of an emergency. And does anyone in the household only use a desktop or laptop computer? Why do they want to know?
Not going to answer that.
But do you want to know why they want to know? Because they're trying to, it's much easier if they figure out how people are
No, we got no
internet access out here. You got to send that pretty lady out.
Because it's a lot, it's like a couple of like, do you have a smartphone? Do you have a
Right.
tablet? Do you have any other type of computer?
Well, they know that already because they already gave out everybody the presidential address or our cell phones. Remember that?
Yes, I do. I forgot
Never in your
about
life.
that.
You had
Do you have access to the internet here?
I thought we just went over that one.
This one asks like what kind of computers you have.
Do we use laptops or computers or anything like that?
Do you have actual, like, could you get on the internet if you
So there is no internet service out here. There is no cellular coverage out here. Yeah. They're putting in telephone and internet though, but it's not in.
Okay. Yeah, which is going to be hard on a back road. Yeah. I've heard people complain. They're like, oh, we're the last stop and blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Okay, how many cars, vans, or trucks of 1 ton capacity or less are kept at home by members of this household? In theory.
No comment.
Well, and I'll just tell you,
Yep.
in theory, it's anything that runs. that you could use as a means to evacuate?
No comment.
Okay.
I gotta be honest, if I was a little paranoid, I would be willing to bet you that FEMA is directing these questions. God forbid we have to go into
yes,
martial law.
and
I
believe
need
it
to
or
know, do
not-
you have access to a shortwave radio? Do you have a
Listen.
car? What do we gotta shut down? And how many people are gonna shoot when we show up?
Believe it or not, that probably is a FEMA question
I bet it
because
is.
it came from, so what they discovered when they did their investigation was that the federal government was actually at fault for a lot of the death toll. So what they're doing now is, I mean, out here, you're not really gonna have terrorists or, you know, a natural disaster
What did Ted Kaczynski live in?
deal. Yeah, but Ted didn't bother his neighbors. You know, I'm just saying.
Did you ever hear of any of the neighbors complaining?
No.
Maybe Ted really bothered all of the neighbors.
No.
Remember,
I-
when Ted bothered you, you didn't really talk about it much
You know,
afterwards.
okay, to heat this home, which fuel do you use most? Gas, electricity, fuel, kerosene, coal, wood, solar energy?
Wood.
And
Strictly wood.
does anyone in the household pay for electricity?
No. We are 100% off grid.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah.
And there's no charge. Do you know the estimated property value?
I think it's assessed at $47,000.
Okay, is that what Victoria would ask if she wanted to sell it?
No comment.
Okay. Is this real cabin? My husband
Oh,
does
yeah.
cabins.
It's not a log cabin,
Oh,
but it's
no.
a wood cabin.
Do you get it stained? Like all of that? I used to want a log cabin so bad when I was a kid. They're a lot of maintenance.
They are. They
I
are.
mean, they are. And
This
he's
has been
like,
my dream
well,
forever.
Well, he's like, well, you gotta, you know, maintain every house. But the problem is if you let it go, like 1 year, like, oh, I don't feel like caulking and staining or blah, blah, blah. This, if it's not technically logs, I don't think it's as bad, but I know the logs.
I think it matters still with being the wood on the outside.
Yeah.